Here we are for another week of Chewing the Fat. Hey, a little bit different. I'm DJing today. We've had some problems behind the scene. Cameron's had a bit of a freak out. We couldn't get this computer to work properly. It's all at my end, so that's just the way that it is. You'll see something new on tonight's show. We've got a random draw winner, so you'll see everyone that puts a comment or a postcode in, they're going to drop into that little jar on the side of the screen there, and we'll be able to get a winner at some stage tonight. So you'll see that it's all totally random in that sense. To win a prize, obviously, I said, if you don't get in contact with me, you can't win the prize. Well, last week somebody didn't get in contact with me, so we've doubled up on the postcode prize. So this week we've got Berkeley hats, some Berkeley Fireline, and of course the Gold packs from last week. So well over $100 worth of thing, just putting your postcodes in the comments boxes. And we'll go from there. So we've got a few on already. Everyone's logged in early. G'day, Luke, Harry, Glenn, Luke, Aaron, Danny, Christy, Bo, Nicholas. Some people are saying they've got no sound, so let's find out if we've got that. See if it's one way or two way. G'day, Colin. I'm just trying to wait for a few people watching from Ivanhoe. G'day, Clinton. Give us a thumbs up or a comment on whether you've got sound or not. Sounds good on my end. Thanks, Bo. Must be at your end, Nick, so keep trying, mate. Sounds fine. There you go. There's a few on. So awesome stuff. Hey, new guest to the show tonight. It's been a bit unusual for the last season. They were all returning guests. It made it a lot easier. And we've got a young up-and-comer in the bass scene to chat. Yeah, a bit of a river rat, this one. So he's got a lot of knowledge, like a lot of the young kids, and I hope to interview more as we go along. These young kids of the next generation of the sport. Cameron's a bit of a tackle junkie too, working at Mo Tackle. So have you got tackle questions for him, Mo Tackle? And I'm pretty sure he'll be able to answer all your tackle questions that you've got as well. So that is awesome. So we've got plenty we can cover tonight. We've got to talk about the Clarence River. We're going to talk about the Oz Open at the Clarence River. We're going to talk about the observer spot. So don't forget, if you want to go out in one of these boats and have a bit of a ride around for the day, you can go out at the Australian Open is a one-up comp, so only one person in the boat fishing, but you can go out as an observer, and there was lots of people did that last year at Somerset and actually reckoned it was the best thing they've done. So you get to go out with one of the pros. That'll be really cool. We'll talk about that. That's abt.org.au is the website. Jump on there, look up the Oz Open, and there's observer forms that you fill in and send them off to ABT to get your spot guaranteed, and away we go. So, get your questions in for Cameron. We better get him on and have a bit of a chat so you know who you're talking to, and we'll see what happens from here. Anything can happen with a new guest on and problems with the computer. So we'll check it out. G'day, Cameron. How you going?
Good, mate. You got me?
I have got you. So I'm hoping everyone else has got you as well. So as I said, last minute we did test runs. We did everything else.
Yep.
Tried to get it all. And then at about 7:28, my computer crashed and then we lost all volume. So we're having a bit of a heart failure. That's the way we go. While we're waiting on questions to come in, look, you're new, up and coming. You've jumped in as we'll call you a pro, but a boater pro / it's your first year going out on your own, making your own decisions. You almost did 2 years as a co. What made you change your mind to step up with the big boys?
Mate, honestly, the way I see it, once you do all of the dams, especially fishing, shout out Keegan Painter in the pre-fishes, and you work out little bits and pieces, there's no reason to be a nonny anymore in my idea of things. I mean, obviously, if you don't have the boat and you don't want to spend the money on the boat, fair call, but I like the challenge. I love that nervous energy you get before the comp, I'm one to put on a pump up song and just wig myself out. But yeah, I like the boating side of it, and I really want to stick it to some of these topper guys because look up to them, and now to fish against them is going to be unreal.
Look, I've said it all the way through. You know, I fished as a co for about 2 seasons. I thought that was about enough time to go out and put my big boy pants on and take the nappy off. And yeah, to fish with your idols and then fish against your idols is something that you don't get to do very often. You know, generally your idols when you're, I suppose, playing, say, football or basketball or anything else like that, your idols are generations before, so you don't generally get to play against them. In fishing, we've got guys like myself that are old farts, and then we've got young guys like yourself that are up and coming, and there's that big span of age in there, and it's a I suppose a sport where it's not governed to male, female, or age at all, is it?
No, not one bit. I mean, and that's the good part about the ABTs. You know, whether it is ABTs or, you know, you do go as a non-boater, the non-boater thing's great. Like, you know, you might draw someone in a tinny. Hey, nothing wrong with a tinny. I started there. But you also might get someone that has the $100,000 bass boat that can do stupid speeds you're not allowed to do on the road too. And the things you learn off the guys, and I'll cover a bit more about that later on, but things you learn, the things you see, like, you know, some of them are sponsored anglers very heavily and the new gear, and you see it before anyone sees it, and it's unreal.
That does happen a lot. It's kind of always been a bugbear of mine. We've got this big push on technology at the moment and whether live site's cheating and all the bullshit that goes with it. But one of the things that I've always said in defense of live site, so to speak, is that it is available to everyone. Yes, it's expensive, but it is officially available to everyone. It's not as if it's not available to everybody. You know, you could go out and buy $100,000 boat, and that's available. It's not necessarily what you need, but it's available. What has always, and I'm a sponsored angler, don't get me wrong, but what always gets me is when these lures go out before comps and aren't released to the general public or the other competitors, and they slay them in a comp and then they bring them into the thing. I think that's an unfair advantage. If there was any gripe in the industry from me, that unfair advantage comes from those sponsored anglers that are using tackle that is not available to everybody else on the circuit. So that's just my little whinge about that. But I mean, they've got to be tested, they've got to be used, and you know, as we've had Braden on, and we have Langers on, and all the top sponsored anglers, Mick Johnson. They all say that you know, it's about getting out there and getting the product out there. So you know, is it or isn't it? But yeah, that's just my grope. Get over it. Get onto it with it, Cap. We're gonna talk about some other stuff. So make sure you put your questions in. Any questions you want to ask Cam about fishing in general, about, you know, as I said, Mo Tackle, we're having a bit of a shits and giggles in the comments last week about the store, but still, as I said to you when we did our test run, Cam, I was one of those guys that actually knew what Mo Tackle stood for, and a lot of people out there don't, and this will go back to show you the age of Oz Tackle for the older guys in there watching this. Mo Tackle is MO Tackle. What does the MO stand for?
Well, I got my little hat on here, so I'll show you. So the MO in Mo Tackle stands for mail order. So distribution, we send everywhere. There's really no limitations. The tackle, the side I'm in, the good side, obviously the fishing side, and then the outdoors in the name is the camping side, which is 50 meters down the thing. We own the same building. Yeah, we do everything pretty much.
You do everything. That's right. And back in the day before the internet, and I'm going to show my age here, you used to have to fill out a form and fax it through or snail mail it through with your credit card details or your old purchase order from the post office or your checkbook, and you know, you get the stuff sent out to you. So Mo Tackle's been around for a long time. I can't remember how long it's been in that building. Has it been in that building the whole time?
I'm going to get my ass handed to me here if I'm wrong, but Darren, the floor manager, or Dags, he's better known. He's been there, it's over 20 years at least. So I think in that original store, because Reg originally did start in a little shop in Little Street in Grafton or something, or somewhere Grafton, across from the new servo. But yeah, yeah, it's been there and it's grown. It's never been the outdoors. He only bought that not that long ago, I guess, and filled that out too. So, it's a one-stop shop. I mean, we do have what most people have, but it's just the sheer size. Like I get guys every day coming through and they just stop at the door and their eyes light up. The kids run around. There's fish on the wall. There's always a Mo-Tackle sticker to get out, get your kids in. But yeah, it's awesome.
Yep. And it's not the easiest store to park with a boat. Just pre-warning for anyone that wants to go to Mo-Tackle. And I always call them when I'm going up to the tournaments, try and make sure that I'm going through while the shop hours are open and go and have a chat to you guys, because there is some amazing stuff in there. It's just like floor to ceiling of everything. And if Mo-Tackle doesn't have it, not many people will. So that's what I always liked about it when I used to do my mail orders, is that you could get it at Mo-Tackle where you couldn't get it anywhere else. So it is worth the check.
Sorry, just on the parking thing, because I get this all the time. If you want, pull into the showgrounds. It's just opposite us, or park like before us, before the BP in front of the cop shop. Your boat's pretty safe there, but there is parking better than what we had. But it's still not ideal. Going south is, but north not so good.
Yeah. So just a hint, but it is worth, if you are travelling through Coffs Harbour during business hours, it is definitely worth calling in and saying g'day to Cam and the team at Mo-Tackle, because you'll find, like every tackle store I love going into, but the credit card doesn't love when I walk out the door.
Yeah.
Keeps you employed though, doesn't it?
Well, I think I should just, throw away half of my pay just into a fund, because it just bought another $100 and something. Mum and Dad are listening on YouTube right now, but another $100 ready for the Open. So
yeah, that's right. And it's a never-ending cycle. You can get. Here's a good question. I'll start the questions off because we're still waiting for a few questions to come in. Don't forget your postcodes if you want to win the postcode prize. But yeah, let's talk about that whole co-boater to boater scenario. So you've taken the big step. How have you handled what we call dock talk? So, we get to the briefing. People are quite good with their information. They say, yeah, no, I caught him here, I caught him on this or whatnot. And that information tends to stuff with your head of you, and then you're running into the local tackle shop to go and buy a certain or specific lure. How do you go managing the dock talk?
Well, I think the first comp I ever did was the Clarence round for the ABT as a boater. And 2 weeks before it, I caught a 51 fork centimetre fish. And on my scales, it was 2.5 kilos. On the ABT app, it was 2.6. The Friday, the pre-fish, I went out and I had 3 fish for 4.5 kilos and then caught 5 fish for the next 2 days and finished second last, which almost ruined me. But the dock talk behind it, I mean, there's always those top guys and everyone knows who they are, your Langers, your Mick Johnsons, your local guys, blah, blah, blah. But there's always those underdogs and those dark horses that you really got to watch out for, because that river, it's a river at the end of the day, and someone can just stumble along a school and just whack them. So, but yeah, the dock talk, it doesn't really worry me. I do love a bit of sledging. I've always watched AFC when Tim Morgan and Dizzy Borg were in there, and it was always sledging, so it was always fun.
Yeah. Look, I got caught up in it really bad when I first started, and it's expensive enough to go to a comp. You'd go down to Glenbourne and then you'd have to buy this or have to buy that to catch the fish, and you end up with a boat full of stuff that you've never ever used or you've used for one comp. So it becomes very expensive when you get caught up in that dock talk. So it's one thing to get the information. This other thing, do you really, really need it? You're dead right. Let's talk about rivers. Clarence River. I toss up. I'm looking forward to going to the Hunter River this year. I'm really looking forward to doing another river somewhere different. But I suppose cut my teeth fishing for bass on the Richmond or Wilson River for the old Bass Nations. It was really good fun. It was something totally different. But you're dead right. Like, if you were putting your money on somebody for the grand final last year, Braden, although it was only a one-day comp in the sense of things, but would Braden have been in your top 5? Probably not. No disrespect to Braden. He's an awesome fisherman, but that's what can happen. Bo talked about it when we talked to Bo. He was lucky enough to get a boater that put him where the fish were, and he caught them real good. But we talked about that. I know Bo and I talked about that the night before, and we both sort of wrote off that area. So, I mean, it's a case of, the river can fire at either end. How much fishable water is it realistically? If you're starting at Grafton at the start line, how far can you go up roughly in Ks? Would it be 20 Ks up?
No, it'd be more than that. So Coppenhurst, the top hole, unless you want to get out and push, but that's as far as you can get by gearbox. You'll see videos on ABT, Mike Nelson fishing that top hole. That tree's no longer there. But it'd be closer to probably 35 Ks, I reckon.
Yep.
It's fair whack.
And then down sort of before you get to, well, I suppose you could really fish all the way to the breakwall in a sense. How far down is it?
It'd be probably that again. Well, the Grafton Bridge to Bridge ski race goes from Grafton to Harwood and back, and that's 108 Ks. So that's 50 odd one way.
Yep. So a massive expanse of water, and a lot of it is fishable. I mean, you can literally start at the start line on one bank and work your way down for 6 hours and come back the other bank the next day. It's a given that it's just so huge. But as an insight into the Clarence itself, do you find that tides make a difference?
Personally, yes. The tides are not what I like for the Open, to be honest. I quite like a high and then a run out. That's just how I fish. I like fishing that way. But, hey, it's the Open. You just got to swing for the fence. I'll fish whatever's in front of me. But, yeah, I do like a run out tide in that river in particular. See, the Richmond, I like a run in, but, yeah.
Yep, cool. We've got some a lot of comedic questions coming in, but as I said, just get your questions in, and we're going to go over them because there is one legitimate one. Luke's asked here. Let's bring up Luke's question. What's your favourite lure for bass on the Clarence River?
It have to be an Australian made for me, mate. Bassman spinnerbaits by far. Yeah.
Yep. Do you find that the Clarence is governed by particular colours like other places are? Like you could go to say a Somerset or a Boondoomer or whatever, and a certain colour tends to work better. Do you find that the rivers are the same as that?
Never been to either of them, so I'm going to them.
Well, in a dam in general, Glenbourne, Sinclair.
Watching the videos, it's always been a greeny natural for Glenbourne, Sinclair. For the river, if it's dirty, I try and stand out, chartreuse and whites and that sort of thing. Coney won it on pretty much that the last round. If it's clear, I like TW1 or Colour 26. Bo knows that. I've caught 3 fish over 50 a few years ago on Colour 26. It's a cracking colour. I love it. But it's whatever the water condition is. I've got a box of about 80 spinnerbaits and they're ready to roll.
Yep, certainly. All right, let's go on to this is a G up here. Well, Mr. Matthew Langford's obviously on, and he'll be fishing the Open in a couple of weeks. So he wants to know what's the best spot to fish on the Clarence. You going to give him any information? I don't think he needs it.
Wherever Langer's boat wake ends, fish behind that.
Yeah, for sure. Just keep doing loops around him so he doesn't catch any.
Yeah, no, the dude's a freak. If anyone's going to catch
look, if any of the listeners are out there and they don't want to go as an observer to any of the comps, well, especially this one this year, I'm quite happy if you bring your tinny down and I'll pay you money to do loops around a certain few anglers. He would be one of them. Mick Johnson and Mitch Cone. All you got to do is keep doing laps in the tinny around and that'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, another question. Does the skipper in a bass comp make the plan with a co-angler or is it just sit and fish where the skipper fishes?
That's a good one because, I mean, if, say for the Clarence, for example, I'd like, if I was a boater, obviously, I'd like to run to my guns and do what I did. I'm really good at putting the non-boaters on to fish. I call myself Cameron's Fishing Charters, but as far as when I'm a coe, I fished with, what's his name? Yeah, Steve Duff, not Anthony Duff. Steve Duff in the grand final, and he had one spot in particular. That spot died out. We got our fish, and he looked at me and he went, right, where do we go? And we went to a couple of spots, and I got my limit. He didn't by one, but it's, local knowledge, definitely. But I think if you've never been there before, you sort of can work together. But if you have a plan, stick to it. If it doesn't work, then look at him and go, righto, mate, what do we do?
Yeah, for sure. Now, I know Ben's from a Barra background. He's down here now fishing a few cod conchs because he's working down here at the moment. So a legitimate question. What I would say from my experience on the circuit is definitely, you get drawn on the Friday night at the briefing. You find out who your co's are. I normally tell my co that I've got the next day sort of what I'm doing. In a grand scheme of things, that information is always politely asked not to be shared. But, I give them the information. I'll be fishing subsurface. I'll be fishing cranks. I'll be fishing surface or whatever it is. Tie a couple of these on. This is what we're going to start with. I always say this is what we're going to start with. Then the options are up from there. I've always used my coes as a way, I'm different to some of the boaters that I used to go out with as a co. It was just turn up and fish, and that's, fish the spot. But I'll generally, my plan is my plan, and I'll do it. And as you said, like Duffy, if it doesn't work, I'll turn around and ask the question: is there, if I'm having a bad day, is there something else you want to try? And go from there. So it's not as bad as it used to be, Ben, where it was sit down, take 2 rods, you're only allowed to take 1 tackle box, you're limited by this, you're limited by that, and you didn't really enjoy yourself. I think what Morgo did a few years ago, which a lot of the pros hated, but bringing in that shared weight brought a little bit more camaraderie to the sport. I'm glad it's gone, don't get me wrong. I hated it myself, but it did bring that camaraderie between coes and boaters into the thing, and I think that sort of stayed with it, even though we're fishing for our own fish now. I think that camaraderie's really stayed there. I think the coes are no longer classed as a second-class citizen, to be truthful. All right. Nick wants to know if you're going to be fishing the goanna tree, whatever the goanna tree means.
Me and Nick fished a recent last month, Queensland versus New South Wales. New South Wales won, of course, but fishing a tree, and I'm jigging away looking at live scope, and I'm close to the tree and hooked a fish, and Nick goes, just drift back a little bit, don't look up. And there's a goanna about 3 foot from my head. So, yeah, maybe.
Just hanging there, just waiting for you to come underneath.
Yeah, he stayed there for a while.
Paul's got a question. What made you switch from being a Brim Lord to a Bass Pro?
I got a girlfriend.
What are you saying? You had a boyfriend when you fished for Brim?
Apparently, yeah. No, honestly, I hate the salt on the boat, and as gay and bitchy as that sounds, I just like coming home, shamming the boat, putting it away. But I do love a good Brim comp too. Don't mind.
Yeah, look, I've said it, and I've said it on the show a million times. I love the bycatch on the river. If I'm out there on the Friday fishing away, get a couple of flathead or whatever, they go into the live well for dinner that night, and I cook them up. You don't often get that, but no. I'm not a saltwater fisherman. I'm the same. I don't like the salt all over you, salt all over the boat. It just makes it really, really hard. Rightio. Aaron's got a good question here. To go on someone's boat to watch, does it cost anything, as I need as many tips as possible so I can try one up, Luke? Yes, Aaron, I think if you're talking about the observer side of things, it's a no-cost scenario. All you have to do is Morgo will ask you to do some social media stuff, record some stuff on your phone and send it to him at the end of the day so he's got some content, because we want the Australian Open to be that little bit prestigious around the grand final and stuff like that. So it's the second best comp of the year. If you're into the AFL, it's your Anzac Day sort of clash. It's up there with it, but it's not quite as prestigious as a grand final. So the more content creators we can get in there, the more people that can jump in a boat, learn a little bit, because you'll learn heaps. You're not allowed to do certain things. So that's a given. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that you're going to sit there and you're going to watch somebody eat fish. You're going to see other people fishing. You're going to learn a heap. All right, keep the questions coming in. We want them to keep coming with the questions. Make sure you got your postcodes in. We are just about at the half-hour mark when I'm going to draw a postcode. So I'm going to call Harry and get Harry to come out. Can you bring me out a drink when you come out, Harry, so we can draw the postcode prize? Renee wants to know when you're taking fishing.
Taking Renee fishing.
Renee,
well, look, if you want to get in a real boat, not a tinny like Bo's. No, there's 3 seats. We can all go for lunch. It'd be nice.
There you go. So, well, you're one of those fiberglass guys.
Polish boy.
Yeah, tinny's rule. Yes, Harry, bring me out a coffee, please. That'd be awesome. All right. Keep the questions coming in. It'll be a very short. Sorry, mate.
We missed one up a little bit from Barry Kelly.
Let's have a look. Did I? Because I haven't got my glasses on. Because I've got the headphones on, I can't put my glasses on. Let me find it. Hang on.
Is that the Brimlangers under Paul Langley?
Oh, we got Paul Langley there. Yeah. So, who's your pick for the Oz Open?
No. What he said. Barry said, "What's your favourite topwater bait?"
Oh well, we'll answer Paul's first. So, who's your pick for the Oz Open?
I'd love to say me. I mean, who wouldn't?
Well, say you.
Honestly, if I could have one, Bill Latimer.
Bill,
he's ready.
In the new Bass Pro.
Yep, he's on some fish. We've been talking. He's on some fish that if they stay there, he'll get it done.
Awesome. I'm camping with him, so that'll be good. Hopefully, he tells me a thing or two. Where I found that question. And now I've lost it again. Just I'm looking for it. So it was Barry, was it? There you go. Found it.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up. There you go. What's your favourite topwater bait?
One of the new ones from Glenn out there, Bassman. He's got it's the normal buzz bait that a 1/4 ounce, but he's made it into a 3 ounce. And I've been trialing some. I think Nick Anderson's been trialing some too, and yeah, they're a good thing. So
you're a buzz bait scenario, and I want to ask a legitimate question here while we're waiting on a few more questions to come in. But the buzz bait scenario, I'm finding it. Why does a buzz bait work so much better in a river system than a whopper plopper or something with a similar sound?
See, I use whopper ploppers as well and catch them too, but I've just kept a buzzbait in my hand. I think because occasionally you get a bit of floaties in the river and the whopper plopper tends to hook them where the buzzbait just bounces over it. And I pull a buzzbait through grass a lot better than ploppers, but I just like a buzzbait. I'm constantly just throwing. That doesn't land.
Yeah, valid point. But the buzz baits are similar to a spinnerbait in the profile that it's one hook facing up, or you can put stingers or single hooks on them. But it is one where a whopper plopper and that's got trebles on it. So yeah, I never thought of that. There you go. Well, I learned something tonight. All right, we're going to do the postcode in a minute. As I said, the postcode prize is a Berkeley hat, some Berkeley fire line. I can't even read what it is. It's £3 and about 10 packets of gulps, whatever's in there. I said it last week, but it's going out to the postcode winner. Let's another question come in here. G'day, Jordan. Will we see you on the Barra Tour this year? Not 100% sure. I want to do it. Yes, I wanted to do it last year. I was actually booked in to do the Barra Tour last year, and unfortunately, my partner pulled out at the last minute. I found another partner, but it just become too much, so I pulled the pin on it. This year, I'm hoping that I might be able to get to at least the southern end ones again. But with doing all 6 ABTs, the Oz Open and the grand final being in Queensland this year, it's going to be hard financially to do that. So it might be put off for another year. But I will get there one year. If all these Americans decide to turn up like they're gonna, I'll probably turn up and do it there. Look at you go. So it was Harry's birthday last week.
It was.
Come in so everyone can see you, mate.
Hello.
So, Cam, I'm going to put you in the green room so you can go and have a wee, grab a drink or whatever you do, and Harry and I will do the postcode and we'll bring you back in a minute.
What was that, mate?
Rightio, let's do this right. So, there he is. All right, so it was Harry's birthday. For everyone that didn't give him a shout-out, give him a shout-out on there. His friends got him Free Willy, so that's the size of the fish that Harry catches when he goes fishing with me.
Compared to your fish, it's big.
Yeah, big. So, did you bring out your iPad to tell us who the?
I did not, but I could tell you through there.
You want me to scroll through? That's all right. So, from the top, you have a look.
Where's this?
That's the top.
Okay. We'll do that one there.
Colin Robinson. So there you go. Postcode Colin Robinson. What's the postcode on that one, mate?
I think it's
2650.
Yep.
2650. So, Colin, you're the postcode winner. You've won the prize pack for the postcodes. All you have to do is send me your address to Corey's Dam Fishing on Facebook, and I will get you that posted out. If you don't send me your address, I can't send it, and it will double up again next week. So the prize is getting bigger.
Oh, God.
All right, Harry, I will give you a call later on. I'll bring you back out. We've got the random draw thing. See all the faces dropping in there. So we'll do a random draw later on for the next prize.
I won the first ones.
All right. Yeah. So I will call you back in a minute.
Bye.
All right. Don't forget, you got to get the questions through. If you don't get the questions through, we haven't got much to talk about. And, Cam and I will waffle on as much as what we can. But if you've got a question, bring it in. So I'm going to bring Cam back on.
Back.
You're back. All right, we've done the postcode. One of the guys down here that fishes really well in the Victorian rounds, Colin Robinson. So that's pretty cool. It's actually gone to a bass guy, so he'll use all of those gulps. I am 100% sure of it. Bo's got a great question here, and it's a legitimate one, so he's not hanging shit on you this time. What's the biggest thing you've learned as a nonny that you'll use in a boat, and who was it from?
Biggest thing, probably be from obviously Keegan, fishing with him as much. How to turn up your volume as loud as you can at the ramp. No, not really. How to break down a dam was good. Not just how I would do it and pick a bank and fish. Like, you get one bite, that's a fluke, 2 bites, a bit better, 3's a pattern. That was really good to sort of pick out. I used to get a bite and then take off, and apparently that was the only fish that lived on that bank. So that was really good. Yeah, that was probably my biggest one, breaking down dams. Rivers, I can sort of wrap my head around, but dams, everything looks the same to me.
Excellent. That's a fair point. There was some great tips that I learnt as a cowie, and the biggest one was to shut my mouth.
We need to talk about the spots for the observers still too. I have it written down here, my little thing.
Yep, definitely. Well, while we're waiting on a few more questions to come in, I'm just going to get to this last one. Mick Thompson's actually obviously all the way from Darwin. He's up fishing the Barra Nationals at the moment by the looks of it, and wants to know where the big girls are on the Daly River. So might have had a hard day on the Daly River. I'm pretty sure he towed the boat up. So good luck, Mick. Hope you do really well. And I've heard it's a really good, well-run comp there. Juddy might be able to send you a message and tell you where to catch those fish. All right. So we're going all the way to Darwin by the looks of that. All right. Let's talk about observers. What are people going to do as an observer?
Well, basically, you get an inside view into. I don't want to put myself in that realm, but I'll do it. Arguably the best in the country. I mean, the Oz Open, it's a big entry fee. You don't go in it if you don't think you have a shot. You've got the top guys. You're going to learn something other. Even if you observe on your own river, I know a few of the younger fellas that, don't want to fish it, don't have a boat. They're going to do it, and I mean it's free. You just go on the ABT page and away you go. you get to go on, as I said, you might get a tinny, you might get a $100,000 bass boat and hold on for dear life, but you'll get the best free TV show you've ever done. And all you got to do is take a handful of videos and photos for the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Now I'm just looking up the ABT website here. I'm going to bring it up on the screen if I can. This is far out exceeding my skills on the computer, but let me just bring this up. Rapala Bass Open. So if you go to abt.org.au, and so what I have to do, I have to share a screen here. If I get this right, we'll still be able to talk, but I'll put this on a solo. Sorry, look at me go.
Whoa.
All right, we've got the ABT one here. Solo that. Yeah, here we go. So if you have a look here, this is the website, the ABT website. Just go on to the Bass and then look for the Rapala Bass Australian Open, 22nd and 23rd of April, and click on that link there, which will open up into another page, hopefully. And if you scroll down here, you'll see across here, you've got entry list, so you can see who's in there, and it is a cracking list. There's now almost 30 on there, so that's really cool. But the next one across is the observer nomination, so you can send that through and get all your details if you want to do both days. Tick both days. It's quite simple and quite easy to do.
Yeah.
So
a great thing that ABT does to be able to do that as well. I mean, one, obviously the cheating side of it, not that I think anyone does it, but you get to go and, as I said, sit in the boats and watch these guys. I mean, you can listen to me and my country music that calms me down, or you can get someone who's there to kick ass.
Yeah, for sure. And look, I'm a lot of people have said that they don't like my style of music in the boat. I've got a very eclectic playlists on my Spotify for when I'm out in the boat. I go from everything from country and western. There's a lot of 80s, a lot of heavy rock, a lot of Australian rock, a bit of DJ, bit of techno goes in there. So there's a bit of a mix. I love my music, especially going to and from spots. So everyone's different. There's other guys that don't want to concentrate. So yeah, pretty cool. All right. Any more questions come in yet? I think there's a few people here wishing Harry a happy birthday. Aaron's asked, as for using lures, is it the same style of fishing in a dam to a tidal river?
This is a question I get a lot at work, and a lot of guys, don't sort of think about it. In a dam, you fish if they miss their opportunity on a bait. Their sort of mindset is, we'll just get the next one. The river, if they're behind a log and a bit of bait comes past, they don't know when the next one's coming past, so they have to fly out and hit it. They might not know what it is, and I think that's why spinnerbaits work so well in the river. I mean, they don't look like anything bait fish-wise, but they just hit it because they don't know when their next meal's going to come. So I think it's definitely different in the river, for sure.
Yep, for sure. Look, I haven't got a massive amount of experience on the rivers, probably been 10 or 12 times in my years since Bass Nation started. I had no idea what to do to start with, but I do find that there are a couple of dams, I suppose, that I'd put into the list. Kenya to be one, and probably Barumba the other. Boondooma back in the day before the original droughts and water levels dropping were probably three dams where fish did actually really nail you, like a river fish. But yeah, I think you're right with those river fish. They just don't know where their next feed's going to come from. Baits going up and down with tides and stuff like that. With Somerset and places like that, that's why the spoons and the plastics and deep water stuff works really well, because they've got a chance to ball those bony brim or whatever they're chasing up into a ball and just keep picking them off and keep getting massive. I think that that's why those river fish are a little bit skinnier. They don't know where their next meal's coming from.
Definitely a lot more territorial, I think, but yeah.
Yep, for sure. All right, we'll keep going. I think we sort of covered this before, but Barry sort of asked a similar question, what we talked about. But interested to hear Cam's view on boater versus non-boater and lessons learned.
Yeah, definitely. Decision making is the biggest one. I mean, as a nonny, you're just there for the ride. And I mean, you at Sinclair, we made a last minute decision to move to that particular bank, and we filled our bag. And I was the little gem that got you your full bag at Sinclair. But yeah,
That you were, and yes, always happy with that. As I said, I did the co and ask, and that was where you wanted to go.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just like the look of it. It's nice. But yeah, as a boater, I mean, you know, if something's not working, you've got to move. And you know, you could ask your observer. He might have an idea. He might like a tree or something, but you've got to make those decisions.
So decision making. All right. I don't. What was another one? Ben's answered the question for the Daily River. Happy birthday, Harry. There you go, Harry. One for you. Still got your handwritten letters from all the winnings over the last few years. So yes, for people that don't know, from when I started the show, what are we in season 5? So nearly 4 years ago, I started the show, and Harry actually handwrites a letter to every winner each week and puts it in with the prize. He asks them to. He's from word go. His writing has improved. I can get you. Some of them were in the original were pretty hard to read, but his handwritten. Even with when we did the kids competition, we gave away 100 lure packs to the kids. We sat there and we wrote out 100 addresses, and Harry wrote out 100 letters to these kids, handwritten. Every one of them signs them off. Harry and the Cap. And just all he asks is a photo to be sent back through, and you know, people do, and it makes his day. So you know, thanks for the shout out, Scotty. Let's go through. Bede fished with me in Victoria, and he said my music is gold, so we got along. Tracy, I'm never playing the Brisbane Lions theme song straight up. Mark Harriet wants to know how many jigs you're going to have tied on.
Old Parrot, he knows there's at least one, definitely.
Yeah, always got a jig tied on.
Yeah.
Here's another one, Christy. Any fishing rituals? And I'll add to this before or during any comps. We'll add rituals or superstitions. You know,
Yeah.
Some people have got really superstitious.
I don't know about the superstitious part, but rituals for me, I have a playlist that's literally called Let's Go, or like a boating playlist. And yeah, it's just got songs that really pump me up and make me nervous thinking about fishing. And I like the good nervous, obviously, but yeah, I'm bad for listening to songs for sure.
Yeah, look, I'm the same, and it's a bit weird. Sometimes you get the co-boater and they want to back you in and help out and do all that sort of stuff, but they want to chat. And I've got me pump up music going, and I'm trying to get yourself pumped up. And the Coe wants to, and I'm half deaf at the best of times, so I've got to turn the music down to not sound like I'm rude. But yeah, I normally say to him, I said, look, we're going to spend 8 hours in the boat together. We're going to talk for about 7 of it. Just give me this next 10 minutes to get him in me zone. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm at the back of the pack and I'm listening to my music, I'm down there for a reason. It's not because I don't want to be near anyone.
Yep. Is it any other rituals or anything that you've got to do? You've got to, I know that there's a few guys that have to put their boat on the water early. They want to get out there early. They want to make sure everything's worked. I know other guys that are really pedantic and have to do all their checks, so to speak, before they go. Other guys won't put their rods on the deck until, one of mine that I used to do before I had the Bass Pro was I never got the net out until I caught my first fish, but now the net lives behind the seat, so it's out all of the time. Any other rituals like that?
Not so much a ritual, but maybe a red flag. My girlfriend Brianna, she knows, and Mum and Dad know too. I don't sleep the night before a comp. Like if it's pre-fish, the night before pre-fish, I'm horrible. After that, I sleep well. But we did a local grafting around me and Dad on Saturday, just gone, and I got 3.5 hours sleep because I was excited because I was going fishing. I woke up at every half-hour interval, and it's shocking, but I love it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for the question. Jordan's got a good one here. If you could pick anywhere to chase both wild bass and impoundment bass, where would you go and why? So you answer first, and then I'll answer second.
Wild and impoundment. So wild, yeah, obviously the Clarence for me. When the jig bite's good. We didn't really get one this year. I don't know why. For the dam side of things, Glenbourne, I've caught my best fish out of Glenbourne. It might change when we go to Somerset and Boondooma, but Glenbourne for me, that jerkbait bite when we went there was just insane. I've never caught fish that way. And eye wavers, those things just blew my mind. They're expensive, but they're awesome lures.
Mm-hmm. I think I've always said my favourite dam is Kenya. But the problem we've had with Kenya, and it's probably the only dam that I've ever fished where the river bass hit, the dam bass hit like river fish. They fight like river fish, was always Kenya. And for many years, it didn't have bonies in it, and the fish bit different, acted different. Somehow bonies got in there over a period of time, and now you can sit down at the dam wall at Kenya and catch them on spoons like Somerset and everywhere else. So Kenya was always a place to go to catch really good, strong fighting bass. But with the drought and water levels and lack of water and sun water letting too much water out, there's not a lot of water there at the moment. So I'll throw one left field to you for a dam that fishes extremely well for big bass, and I'll give you reasons why, but nobody really fishes there. No comps go there. Is Paradise Dam. So I worked on Paradise Dam for 5 years, used to go out there every afternoon and slay the bass. There is Barra in there as well. Massive population of catfish. So that puts a lot of people off because you catch a lot of catfish, but the bass in there are massive. Now it's the last dam wall on a major tributary, so to speak. You've got Kenya, Waruma, Boondooma, and BP upstream of it. They do have a stocking program. They put about 10,000 bass in there a year. It's not big, but because every time any of those dams go over, eventually those fish end up in Paradise Dam. So never write off Paradise Dam as a bass fishery. I've always tried to get comps to go there. Nobody would because nobody wants to go to a new dam that they've never heard of. So Paradise in the river, dams for the river. Yeah, it's upstream of the Clarence, above through the gorge country. I would love to go up there and do that. I don't know how many times I go back to watching Joey Jollop Lure, Joey Urquhart's videos when he goes up there. You guys are spoilt living in that area for sure. So it'll be definitely river system for bass would be up there. Throwing in a smoky and another smoky there, the Mary River upstream of Maryborough. So from Tyro, between basically upstream of Tyro, it's very hard to get into there. I used to kayak on there a lot, going about 20 k's up to Gundyre, put the kayak in there and kayak down for 20 and just slay bass the whole way down. It's a untapped fishery that not many people fish. I know Paul Allwood's done a couple of comps there from Tyro down. There's a little creek up there, Myrtle Creek. I used to live on the back of that. I'd go out every afternoon in my Hobie and catch fish out there and big bass too. So once again, there's Barra in there as well, and Mary River cod and lungfish and everything else. So try the Mary River upstream of Maryborough in Queensland for a hidden little river gem. All right. We'll keep going. I've been talking a lot. Now that tech has been out for a while, do you find yourself relying on it? Have you got live scope?
I do have the new Garmin.
Yep. So you got the Garmin one, yep. Or using a one-off, or as a precise tool. So either way, what do you find yourself doing?
When I first got it, it was a video game. And I mean, you try not to look at it, but when you're catching fish on blades and you can literally see them eat it, there's nothing better. But now, Nick Brunye will know the way I use it. I think I'm getting a lot better. I use it. If I see the fish there, I know I can generally get them to bite pretty quickly. If not, I won't. But I normally don't use it. Like if I'm fishing a bank surface, I normally have it almost pointed the other way to just pick up a snag that's random, because this river floods all the time and new stuff moves. But yeah, I don't rely on it as much as I did, definitely.
I think the novelty is definitely there when you first get it. It is something that I really enjoy using fishing for cod, finding structure, finding fish. But during a comp, and especially for say, definitely the river, it's set on a 45-degree angle to the bank, and I'm fishing. I'm worried about where my lure's going to land more than watching the screen itself. But it did take me 3, 4, 5 months to stop looking at the screen. You see the memes on face, with the kids holding the phones and they got the sunburn stain on that. Well, I reckon, we all us fishermen, are going to have this big hunchback from looking down at screens. But definitely, I think you get caught up in the novelty, don't you, at the start, and then you think you're relying on it. But the guys that go out there, prime example, Langers talked about it in his interview for his fish that he caught down here in Victoria, where he was targeting individual fish in 60, 80, 100 feet of water. You couldn't do that with that live scope. Sure, that's a given. But, it's not the be-all and end-all either in that situation. Rightio, another question. They're coming in thick and fast now. There you go. Luke's also commented and said that he's still got his in the lure cabinet from Harry's Prize. It's good to hear, guys, because it really, he's put a lot of work in, written a lot of letters to everyone. So, every week, some weeks I go, oh, look, have you written the letter? And he goes, oh, no. I said, I'll send it. He makes me stop so, he can write the letter and send it out to everyone. So, Bo's asked, what milestones do you want to hit in Australia and his states in the future plans?
In Australia, I mean, the Oz Open is the prestigious, as we talked about before, but I've always had that top 5 anglers in my head, and if someone saw me as their top 5 that could be dangerous anywhere, I'd probably have made it. And in the States, I mean, not on my wage at the moment anyway. It's a lot of money. Tommy Wood, you're a champion getting over there, mate. But I'd love to go over and fish, but I don't think I could do it over there.
Look, it's, like Carl did, it's hard work, and you've got to really, dedicate the majority of your life to do that. It's a big life change. Like anyone moving countries, it's not like you're getting a scholarship and going over there and having some sort of backing. You're on your own. So not many people. I think that's a big hole in the. There's Tommy's over there at the moment. I know Dean and Langers went over and were quite successful in their endeavours but they were never going over full time. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see somebody else give it a go. It's good to see Tommy over there, that's for sure. Jordan saying he only fished Paradise once, didn't get any bass, but did find a good yellow vertical on a ZX. There you go. Mary's a cracker. Galbo asked a question. Hey, Tech Angler. Let's go into that one. So, do you think forward-facing sonar will impact non-boaters' experience?
Well, I suppose if you're gulping a tree and the tree's obviously at the front of the boat and the nonny, isn't allowed up the front, yeah. But if you're not really, because as I said, Cameron's fishing charters, people catch fish at the back of my boat all the time.
Yep. I think, look, we get tied up in it a little bit. We really, really do. We, and I coed Glenbourne and Seclair many, many times in a gulp bite, and we never had forward-facing sonar. And, that's just the way that it was. So I think to an extent, the only time it would affect me as a co-boater would be when Langers was doing what he was doing at, and there's no disrespect to Langers, if they're fishing if they're pitching to individual fish in 100 feet of water, it really, really limits you. I know Kev was out with Mitch last year when he was focusing on 3 fish on a stump and had the boat, and Kev had nothing really to cast at for 5 or 6 hours. So it can make it hard, but it's no harder than any other situation. It depends on how it's fishing and everything else. I don't think live sonar. Oh, look, you go to the other extent where Morgo has put a screen and a live scope on the back of his boat for Nicole when they fish the Barra, so she's got one too. I mean, anything's possible. I don't think I'd go to the extent of putting a screen on the back of my boat for me co-boater, but it's horses for courses. When you're fishing the river, I don't know how many times I've fished down a bank and I thought I've covered every one of it, and Coe throws in there and catches a fish off it. So I think only 5-10% of the time it's really going to affect the non-boater's experience for sure.
Mm.
All right, any more questions? Jake's got one. For those that don't know, what is your setup, the speed of your boat, sounder brands, etc., and what would you want to add or change on your boat? And he's also said good luck in the Open.
Yeah, cheers, Jake. It was good to see you the other week, mate. So I'm running a 2007 Ranger bass boat, 188 VS, almost 19 foot. It's got a 150 Optimax on it. Top speed at the moment's around those mid 80 kilometres an hour. So plenty of fuel used. It's not the fastest boat, but I'm normally 5 minutes behind the main pack, I guess, if we're doing a big run. Sounders, Garmin LVS 34 at the front, Humminbird Helix 7 at the helm, just to tell me where I'm going. Add or change, new motor, I guess. I could get it easily rated to a 200 and she'd be on song. Yeah.
Need versus want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
For sure. All right. That looks like that's about. I'm going to go back through and see if there's any other questions. Have you got anything you want to give, anyone you want to give a bit of a shout out to? We're nearly at the hour mark anyway, where we normally give it away. So I'm going to get Harry to come outside and we'll give away the next prize. But have you got anyone you want to give a shout out to, or say anything before we get Harry out to do the next prize?
Yeah, not to say that I'm a sponsored angler by any stretch of the imagination, but people that look after me, obviously Dyer Australia, Mo Tackle, Bassman Spinnerbaits look after me pretty good. Dad helps me quite a lot behind the scenes when I'm not here. He's had a bit of a shoulder reconstruction and that, so he's been working on the boat. He loves a good polish of the boat. Girlfriend always supporting me, Bree, she's been great. And then, if you back to the observer thing, if you think, you can get up to Grafton for that round, get up there because it is going to fish like hell, I reckon.
Yeah, serious. You're saying that it's going to fish like hell. That's awesome. Anthony's, are you the pre-fish king?
Yeah, there is a photo getting around that Anthony Duff has made of me.
You keep talking. I just got to go and grab the prize pack.
All right.
You're in charge.
I'll take it. Yeah, pre-fish king on the club. Yeah, I suppose I am. I can catch him in pre-fish, that's for sure. Someone did have, and while I'm allowed to just do what I want to do, someone did have a comment about braid up here. I'm just trying to find it. Here we go. Michael King, what brand of braid do you use? I use Daiwa J Braid Grand, so the blue stuff. It's on all of my reels. Do the non-specific eBay brands cut it? I mean, I'm sure they do, but as I tell customers, I use what I sell. Or sell what I use, I say. So yeah, I quite like the J Braid stuff for sure.
Excellent. We're going through. Ben's got another question here. Do you take your hooks off for pre-fish? Something that he's done for barra comps.
I probably should after my last pre-fish, but I'm not going to this time around. I'm going in with a lot more, not confidence, but just a lot more reassurance. It isn't my first one. The hype's not as big for me. I'm just going to go out there and fish my ass off. But yeah.
Excellent. All right. Any other questions? Get them in. I'm just waiting for Harry to come out. We're going to try and do this new random draw prize. I'm going to open this up so they know what I'm getting. So this is a pack of Molix R-shads. There's greens. There's pinks. There's some more greens. And some red and blacks. Awesome for cod, bass. They go really good trailers for spinnerbaits, especially the cod stuff. They'd work well on the barra. So there's 4 packs of those and a couple of Two Mates brewing hats that I'll give away in that pack. That's the random prize pack for tonight. As I said, I'm just waiting on Harry coming out. I don't know where he's gone to draw the random prize. Let's make sure I've gone through all my notes.
Suppose if I could question.
Sorry?
If I could ask you a question.
Go for it.
You could pick 3 for the Open. Who would you have?
Oh, I'm going to do this. This is fine. So let me look at the entry list.
Stop at boat 19 first, at least.
I'm looking at the list, and I would have gone pretty close because, River Rats, I would have had Bill up there straight away anyway. You've already mentioned Bill. Bill would be in my top 3. I don't think I could go past Dane Price as well because he fishes the rivers really well. If it is a jig bite, puts that jig in his hand, it would be insane. And let's go down further on the list. Throw in. Well, we can't really call it a smoky because everyone there could win it.
Exactly right.
We'll go Bill. We'll go Dane, and we'll look down the bottom. Brian Everingham could be a smoky because he's won there before, but might have to throw old Chris Hickson in there.
Yeah. Chris could catch him in a bathtub. The dude can just pick and fish. Doesn't matter what it is.
And that's not writing off your guys like Coney, Langers, Morgo. Oh shit, there's everyone else down there. You or me. There's plenty of good names in there, but yes, to do the 3, that would be it. Let's just see if there's any more.
There's a couple there.
Look at Trent's question. Still waiting for Harry to come out. I don't know where he's gone. I'll have to send him another message in a minute. He's disappeared. Otherwise, I'll do it without him. Do you use a day tackle box so that you're not searching for lures during the comp?
Not a day tackle box, but I do have a little bit of foam glued to one of the sides before you get up onto the deck of the boat, and it has lures just stuck into that for the day. Normally just the same of what I'm using, just a spare, so I don't have to waste too much time. But yeah, all my stuff's in the boat. But yeah, I'll have it I call it my day foam, if anything. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Now I do something similar, especially pre-fish day. I run I haven't got so-called day box like some of the new bass boats, and they have a day box up the front, blah, blah, blah. But I do have a Tupperware box there that I'll put what I want to throw on pre-fish day in there. And if I think of anything during the day, there's nothing worse than thinking I should have thrown that. So, if I think of it during the day, it goes in the little Tupperware box. Then all of a sudden, I've got all these lures I want to throw, and I'll throw them, and whatever I've ruled out goes back in the other tackle boxes. So it sort of weeds down to 4 or 5 different lures that I'm going to put a fish on pre-fish day. So it's a box, I suppose, because it's a Tupperware box, but it's a pre-selection of lures before I go out, that's for sure. But it doesn't mean that that's all I'm going to throw either.
Hello.
Hey, found you. All right. So Harry's here. I'm going to put you in the green room. Get your last few questions in. As I said, we go for an hour. So get any of your last questions in. To do that, we're going to draw out the random prize right now and see if this works. So I'll put you in the green room. I'll be back in a second. All right, Harry.
Oh, all right.
All right. What you have to do here, this is all new, so we don't know how this works. This will be... hopefully it'll draw out somebody. So see this here?
Yep.
You've just got to click on that and we'll see what happens.
Fish on.
Fish on. So Danny Coltish. I always get his name wrong, Danny. If you watch us on YouTube, so way back at the start, Danny would have put a postcode prize in. So, Danny, you are the winner. What you have to do to get that prize back is actually send me a message to Corey Sam Fishing with your address, and I will post that out. And pretty cool having the guys even say that they've got their letters still from originally winning the stuff.
Can I tell you why I was late?
Why were you late?
I accidentally fell asleep.
Harry fell asleep. It was sports day today in the so you come third in the 200, wasn't it? Yeah. So well done, mate. All right, son. Well done. Fell asleep. Nice work. Mum, wake up.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I was just about to come in and get you. I will bring Cam back on. We will be back next week for another round, and then I'm probably going to have to take a month off because I'm all over the place. Harry for the win. There we go. All right, I'm going to bring
Love
Cam
you
back
all,
on.
but in a romantic way.
Love is all, but not in a romantic way. That's the catchphrase from Harry. I'm going to bring Cam back on. We'll close this out for the night. There you go. The reason we couldn't find him, we fell asleep on the couch.
Busy man.
That's how entertaining I am. I'll send him to sleep. All right. Anything else you want to cover before we go, mate? As we said earlier on in the night, Australian Open observer spots. Get in there if get your entry in for the Oz Open if you think you can compete. Get it in there, but definitely if you want to learn, go out as an observer. You can't do that. You're going to learn so much. You get 2 different boats, 2 different days. You could go totally different directions, but you'll have a ball. So. Anything else you want to add, mate?
Not overly. Thanks for everyone for commenting. What do we got? 90-odd comments there and 30 people still watching me talk crap. So it's been fun. Thanks for having me on. Yeah,
and it fluctuates. It's not a given thing. None of the YouTube stuff comes up unless they're signed in on their account either. So, when I first started looking at the counter and I go, oh, yeah, there's only so many watching it. But if you're watching it on YouTube and you're not signed into your actual account, it doesn't count to the watch list. But as soon as we give the prizes away, it definitely drops off. Your first time on the show, we will have you back, hopefully as a winner of the Oz Open or the grand final or whatever it is. Just the way to go. So, as I said, I will be on with a guest next week. And then that'll be it for about a month. I've got so much coming up. I'm not going to be able to get time to run the show. As I said, we're going to go up to the Clarence 2 weeks after Easter. That's a 1,200-kilometre up and back trip. I've got Galbo's Teams Fishing Australia at my whaler the next weekend. So over to my whaler for 3 days fishing. Then I've got a week off and up to Queensland for the double header. So I'm going to be doing about 5,000 Ks in a month. To fish tournaments. So I'm not going to be able to run the show for about a month. I will do as much as I can on my social medias and stuff like that. As I've said, this year I'm running a camera, good, bad, and ugly. If I donut, you'll get the feed of, what I did wrong. If I catch fish, well, all the better. But I'm going to run the camera all year and do up a video from each round. Cam, good luck with the Oz Open. Hope you do really well. I'll catch up with you up there and we'll have a beer. But thanks for coming on the show, and I will have you back again. Just hang in there. I'm going to finish the stream off and we'll have a chat off air. All right, for everyone else, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.